Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Among You podcast by Kuchu Times Media Group, a project supported by Uganda Key Populations Consortium under the Free to Be Me project. It is aimed at demystifying the myths around LGBTQ plus Ugandans by sharing how similar the Ugandan experience is, regardless of your gender or sexual orientation. We hope that these stories build allies out of you. Enjoy. Hi, welcome back to the second episode of the Among You podcast by Kuchu Times. As per the usual, I'm your host, Samantha, the editor at Kuchu Times, and I'm very excited about the conversation we're going to have today because as we're looking at our similarities, this is actually going to make you realize how similar we really are. And I'm not in the business of introducing people because I've learned that people have titles I don't know, people have names I don't know. So just go and say, I'm Samantha, I'm the editor at Kuchu Times Media Group.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Age HRD. They, them. Thank you.
Hey. My name is Mona Lisa, Audacious Mona. I'm happy to be here. I can't wait to dive into the topic.
Hi everyone. My name is Greystone, an apologetic HRD from Jinja.
By HRD to live Angie. We are overrepresented here. So I'm Bana. I'm Bana. I'm passionate about art and the good things in life and colorful and beautiful things in life.
Bana is my co-host by force.
Yes, so since I've been given the responsibility to co-host today, I'll just dive in right ahead into the topic. Today we're talking about gender roles, or what people would call omusajja akolachi, omukazi akolachi. Why are you behaving like a girl? Why are you behaving like a boy? And in the context of the families or the situations where we grew up in, personally, I'll share my personal story. When I grew up, I used to be passionate about so many things, yeah? And people kept telling me you cannot be a master of many trades, but I was a master of many trades because I really loved to write. I really loved literature and expressing myself using writing, but I also really liked the sciences. I liked math. I really loved math, actually. I really loved like the physics and the science things. Yes, but I reached a point, and I think it was towards my A level, and I wanted to do a very weird combination of the things that I loved to do, and they told me that you can never be a successful man if you are doing literature and history or those combinations, and yet you're already good at these other things. Why don't you just do a combination where you can become an engineer or a doctor, which are manly jobs or which are more masculine jobs? So I ended up doing PCM. I did well, obviously. Someone is giving me an eye roll.
Well, it's very subjective. You did well how? Tell us. You got how many
I got
points?
17 points.
17 points in PCM?
Yes.
You should be in bank now.
Not bank, but about oil. But these people who are drilling the oil.
I got 17 points. So I had applied to do electrical engineering at Chambogo, but when my results came in, by then that was the first year we were doing like subsidiaries like the computer, the sub-math. So my transcript or my results form did not come with the results of like the computer results. So I had there was a whole process of going back to your NEB. Did you what had happened? And then the process of enrollment was still ongoing.
So, Bana, is that why power goes off in Nigeria? Because they didn't give you the job they didn't give you the course you want?
Exactly.
Because power in Nigeria goes.
Exactly. And the lesbians in Nigeria always complain to me.
We don't charge our guys.
All the lesbians in Nigeria are always telling me that there is no power.
You should shift.
So I ended up doing.
She had to shift too.
Yeah. So I ended up doing because the time was going and I had to do something. Yeah. So I ended up doing a diploma at a college in Kisubi. And like by then I was so frustrated. And after the diploma, I like moved on. I even did a job with, I think it's solar now. They used to install solar panels and all those things. I ended up doing like an intern, and they gave me even a job. But I hated the job. I hated, I really liked the technical, like the mind, the thinking aspects of but the jumping around and fixing wires, and I really hated that part.
Plus we did expadi courses. So
Yeah. So like, and looking back now, I mean, I feel like I wasted like 5-6 years of my life doing something that like is that to please the society or to please the people that I was with.
yeah.
And I feel like it's just because they thought it was a more money job or it was a more respectable job to do. And I'm curious about what you guys' experience has been, like with your parents or with your upbringing or with like the way you've lived your life with gender roles. Have you been forced to do things or to go through things that like are not you, but just because society is like...
Okay, specifically, I would love to... I know my thing is not a gender role, because... But you know, I kept on getting HR jobs because I'm fat and scary.
Oh my God.
No, seriously. People would tell me, you are a version of authority. Like somebody will look at you and they'll get bullying. and they'll get scared to not come to work in time.
Yeah.
But like Bana, for me, I think the thing that I struggle with the most is that as a film presenting person, I'm expected to be... Okay, I can cook. No, that's actually a lazy way of describing my cooking.
Yeah.
I am Gordon Ramsay's role model. Yeah. Gwe. Spoon. I damage that spoon. I don't just spit it. But then when it comes to things like cleaning or you get those kinds of things, and then for some reason I'm expected, because I'm a woman, I'm expected to have a tidy home. And I keep telling people, I can afford to pay for convenience. So I will pay for it, or have people come over and clean my house and do ABCD. And I'm being told how it's not ladylike. Yeah. But there's a thing I have, one of my memoirs that I work with, and somebody says, and it says, well-behaved women don't make history.
Yeah.
They don't. You have to be a bit defiant.
You have to be a bitch.
So I'll go and say the purpose of this is to show what we're trying to say is that regardless your gender or your sexuality, at some point, a gender role has been shoved down your throat.
Yeah.
And these are the stories we're sharing today. I have a brother who cooks almost as good as me. I don't think anybody cooks as good as me, but almost as good as me. And we keep on struggling with that as a family. Like my family keeps on saying, but how are you going to get married when you cook this well? The woman will be so intimidated. And apparently it is illegal to know how to cook. It is illegal to cook well because the woman is going to be so intimidated about the fact that you cook well. So I'm curious about, in our community, how have those gender roles played out? I'm the kind of person who I'll be sitting with a partner and people will approach me with stupid questions like, who is the man? And my point is, there is no man. That is exactly what we're doing here. Yeah. We are two women that love it. That's what we're doing here. It's the whole essence of my sexual orientation, the lack of a man. But I have quite them, and then there's a lot of pressure on the masculine presenting, which I think you guys are going to go into, masculine presenting females to pay bills, to cater for certain things. We're both women. You also open my door. Pull my chair. I'm also a woman. I want love. By
You
the
also
way,
sweep the house.
my act is soft masks. Those masks are not afraid to say the things that they want. Yeah, Aggie.
Thank you very much. When we talk about the reason why I felt to be in a relationship, I want to answer you that because every time I meet you, you're ever single. So that's whenever I get someone, that person wants me to provide everything. You're a woman, I'm a woman. Why don't you pay bill if we are to stay together, why don't we share
Because
as
you're an ED.
no, being an ED doesn't mean that ED stops at work.
Yeah.
But when we are home, we are equal. If you have seen something nice for me, buy it. If I have seen something for you, I will buy it for you. But why do you wait for me? If you want fuel car, you have to call me. If you want something nice, you have to call me. But you have never asked me what I want. So I think mostly in our community, we have failed to understand ourselves that if I love you, that means you have loved me. Don't make me to be a horse where you have to sit and ride every time you want. Let us share. No, let us have that thing that we are all women. We are living in one space. Though, yes, even someone on the research asked me, like, I was before I became single. Samantha just keep quiet. So before I became single, I was in a relationship. I think it was my first relationship. Then we could move, go clubbing, and I'm like, this person works. You work, I work. But bill, when it comes, now everyone's like, hey, you're the man. I'm like, no, we are just women who love each other, as you said already. But for the person whom you are in love with, doesn't see that. Sees that as a man, and which has made us not be on the same table. Yeah. So think of who should do this, who should don't do this. We should stop that thing in relationship, like misgendering someone, also misgender someone. Why do you say I'm a man? Have you seen?
But also I think it's our responsibility as us, because all the relationships I've been in, people come with their expectations, and then I have to spell it out to you that go on this is how I handle my relationships. We are equal partners in this relationship, and I feel like if we both come with expectations, then we end up just fixing ourselves in those gender roles. Because when I come and my baby expects me to provide, yeah, and me I've not stood up and said, no, we're contributing towards this thing.
So true. Personally, I've been doing that. Whenever I meet someone, I just say, you know what, we are two women who love each other. So don't expect me to do for everything. If I'm paying 300 for the rent, you're paying half of it. I'm paying half of it. We are sharing, splitting the bills. There's no man here. If we are doing this, we're doing this together. But things turn. They're like, no, me I'm like, but when you're in bed, we are doing this thing together. No one is a man, one is a woman. So
I also think it's also having a problem, the gender roles. Now, it's coming with power over. When the partner is the one providing, they'll have power over you. But then let us also get back to say that my partner doesn't have money. Let us consider that. There are people who have no jobs, but then when you say, what do you bring on table? Someone is maybe cooking at home. That's why they're bringing on table. They're giving a service. And if you're paying rent, well, you're doing that part. Also, I also have a part that I'm doing. Now, the way it's bringing issues, most partners are considering the part of who is bringing out the money and forgetting the other contributions that these people don't have money, but they have a service that they do. Yeah, but then it comes with power over because you're bringing, but I have a service. I'm washing your clothes. I'm washing your pants. I'm cleaning the house. It's what I'm bringing the table. It's what I'm bringing on the table.
A question for Stone. For Stone, you see, in Kampala, we have, which is I'm happy about it. We've normalized what we call nachayombekede. But as a person from a rural part of Uganda, I understand that rural Uganda is mostly governed by customs and norms and culture. I want to know, how is that? How are you navigating that kind of thinking in your context? Yeah.
Actually, it's also a problem. I don't know who came up with this culture. Let me even first drive it to sexual activities, where some people think that in bed, this person is strictly supposed to play this role and do this. what they have to do, and the other person is supposed to do the other thing. It's like there is a book that was written where people follow. If we're in bed, me as a bottom, I have to do this and this. If I'm a top, I have to do this and this.
Yeah.
Whereas some of us, we want things to change around.
Yeah.
Yes, you are that, but there's something I like on you that I will not find on the other gender.
Yeah.
Allow me play around with it, fix it, do what I want.
There is something. Grace
Can we
said.
let Mona speak?
Yeah, I wanted to go to Mona because this is
No,
very
we're going
interesting.
to Mona now.
No. I wanted to link it to Mona. Sorry. I wanted to. There's something interesting.
Mona.
Okay, Mona. I give up.
I really love this space. So basically, I think for me, having grown up in an African home, I will not be different from what has been said by my other podcasters here. So, growing up in a family of 7 girls, and then I'm the other 8 girl, but perceived to be different. So, the confusion is around how do you box somebody that chooses to transcend gender roles and everything? Because as a queer trans woman, I see myself as somebody that will not limit myself to doing the male kind of stuff around, oh, what does this gender have to say about cleaning, about paying bills? Because for me, hearing from conversations of people talk whatever they say is to not limit myself to the gender roles themselves.
I think you should say, as a transgender woman who has the bag.
Yes, that's so right. So when you have
Who
the
has
bag,
the bag?
so I just want to speak generally for people that yes, you could have the bag, and then for that other trans person who doesn't have the bag but still needs to step up and say that I'm more than just my gender roles and everything that has been assigned to me because of being a man, being a woman, and everything. So with this conversation, it reminds me of a time when I was just out of school, and then I so badly needed to be loved. Yeah, and every time I would get into a relationship, don't forget that gender roles come with also who do you date, who do you sleep around with, and all those things. So when I stepped out and told this man that I was different and I was a trans woman, the question that he asked me was, so then who is going to do the bottoming work? Who is going to do the do? Like how Samantha says. And I'm like, okay, are you going to limit our relationship to just also the sex bit about it? Because there's more to that. I'm attracted to a person not just because I want to sleep with it. And I think that's the thing that gender makes us to think, that it divides us into binaries. You're either man or woman and nothing in between. So for me, that is where the problem is. Every time I'm trying to dissect and think beyond that is to say to myself that I will not be limited to boxes. And in a relationship, of late, I'm believing that I can do everything. Why do I have to bottom every time, like somebody says? I can choose to be on top. Why not? Yes. So you see of how we have to also come back to ourselves and say, we have to come back to ourselves and say to ourselves the honest truth. What do you want? Yeah. And for me, it goes now beyond that. From this queer, transcending human being.
Mona, there is something you mentioned, and I really want to hone in on that.
Yeah.
And Grace also mentioned it. When we challenge, most of these gender norms are brought about by power dynamics, and power dynamics are influenced by money, by status in life, education, background, all these things. Yeah. Now, here you are, Mona, or here you are, Grace. You are financially. Yeah. You're challenging gender norms. I'm going to give you a very good example. Kizza Besigye and the wife. Yeah. In politics, the wife ideally is more successful than.
His job is he's a perpetual presidential candidate.
Yeah. But you see, whenever the wife is speaking about something, you will see comments in the comment section. Nti ono mukazi yazina Besigye. Yeah? Yes. I don't know if you get me. Yeah.
How did that coming?
Because people want to. Like, they cannot imagine, their imagination is not that big enough to imagine that a woman can have the power or the resources and still be in a successful relationship. So Mona, how do you challenge these because for someone who has the resources and the power, and okay, like you're already in a position to know about these things in your own relationships, how do you challenge these norms?
Can I go before Mona? I'm going to be as cocky as they come. I make a good bag. I won't lie. I live a very comfortable life. But I'm a feminine presenting woman. And that's something that I struggle with but I've actually evolved as a person. I came from giving people money, giving them my card, giving to pay, to being comfortable with, excuse me, bring the bill to me. But also it goes to, I'm chubby, I'm fat. Chubby is lazy, I'm fat. So ideally, according to Ugandan standards, you know how that thing they published where Ugandans, if you're fat, you can get a loan of 100 million. If you're small, even if you're Chirumida,
I can't deal by that. I was like, Samantha, we need this money.
I'm a big liability.
I was very offended by that tag. But according to Africa, more pounds on the scale, more money. But I have found that I find partners who are not intimidated by that fact, who are comfortable with that fact. And the only issue comes in from everybody else, you know. Because I've been taken on dates by these people, but the waiter will look for the fat person in the room and bring that person the bill. Yes. And I'm like, boss man, please kinda push it dozens. It's not for me. I don't have any money. My job here is to remove pant. But but they don't listen. And so for me as a person, the person that comes into my mind is the stay-home dad. Yeah. I have a friend who is the working person in her relationship for the past 3 years. She's married to a man. He doesn't have a job. And it is terrible. It's because at some point it gets irritable that he's not working. This man, she comes back home to a dirty house and she said, you have one job.
To be at home and clean.
Thank you. And he's saying, I'm a man, I can't clean the house. And she's saying, I'm a woman, I shouldn't be paying school fees, but here we all are. So how do we all just
help each other?
You get what I'm trying to say?
But I think it goes back to the one having money shouldn't be doing housework. It also goes back, yes, I understand the man is supposed to clean, but it's something that was set.
No. It's about me, I feel like people need to find convenience. Let me tell you, any gentleman listening to me right now, if your woman is the bag, dear, grab mop, grab broom, grab scoring powder. In fact, quarter vimo kutechi na mido.
What I was saying, that's why actually most women are suffering, because the husband is having money. That's why you'll see from our areas, they'll go to a garden, mkazi agenda komao, the hoe is on the head, the baby, the bag, because it's the man also with some money. This is what I'm saying. You're back from work, you the lady who is having money, let me cook, be mopping, let me do something. But it goes back to men having money. Na komao na salako, mkazi na fumba, na slavana, they do everything because he's the man and he's the one working.
I kind of agree with what Stone is saying, but I'm also going to differ a bit and say that nothing is cast in stone when it comes to gender roles, right? So we saw like ATS, African Traditional Societies, where they would tell us that, a woman can't eat these, or a man is supposed to do these.
Eggs, I'm revenging for my ancestors.
Exactly. Yeah. For us, for me now, for the generation that is coming up, and for everybody
Samantha,
that is
listening
into this, for me, it's to say that nothing is cast in stone. We are constantly having to evolve and change, and so it's the gender roles and everything that we seem to have made permanent in our lives. So change that bit about you. However much money you make, now I'm going to also like be cocky and or maybe say that as a woman who makes more money, as a trans woman that makes more money, there's nothing. Yes, I do got the bag of that. But I also know for a fact that I am not going to be disrespectful of my man.
Yes.
Yeah? I'm a feminist and all these things, but I
Yes.
also remember that when I get back home, I answer to somebody. And it's all about respect in that relationship or convenience or whatever it is, to say that I'm all these things, but they will not take away my humanity from me.
Yeah.
So the thing for me is about, I have the back 100%, but I also remember that for things to work out in relationships, which is still binary based, is there should be sort of relationship, respect within that relationship.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. We've fast
Mona
run out
has
of time.
bags.
So I want everyone here to share their parting shots. I don't know if I'll be last or I'll be first.
Be fast.
I'll be first. Samantha will be last. So I think my parting shot is basically, we are all on a journey of challenging gender norms. Because even me personally, in my own relationships, there's one time I sat down and took a survey of all my partners or all the people I've been with. Right now I'm in one, but it's also not serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me,
Right now.
When I leave this podcast, Tomboza.
link in terms of link back, baby, we are cleaning this country.
We are cleaning the mess house.
And I took a survey because I'm the kind of person who is aware of gender roles and gender dynamics. And I also took a survey of a friend of mine. And I realized that even when you get into relationships with people who are aware of their, it's like, it's very strained. It becomes so strained because this person is like aware that I'm empowered, like these are not my roles, and also you're empowered, and you end up not working out because you never end up agreeing on, okay, let me do this, let me settle on doing this, because everyone is expecting the other party to give the other party an inch, because I'm standing my ground, you're also standing your ground, so we are all looking at each other like, who is going to move? So I feel like it's a work in progress for all of us, even as people who already know. And it's not something that like you do in one relationship or in one situation, but you keep learning and you keep growing and evolving. Yeah. That's my shot for now. Yes, Mona.
So my parting shot with the topic that we've been discussing now is about, I'll give it back to respect. Yeah. Respect in everything that we do as individuals, because the thing that has always like kind of like shadowed women and kept us in the dark within all our diversities is that men tend to feel like they're more superior than the women and all these things. So for me, what I mean by respect is this person being able to see that if I'm bringing A to the plate, please bring B, and do not make it seem like because I'm a different woman, I'm a woman of so many things, that you make me feel less of a human being. So for me, it goes back to the respect that we always clamor for within our societies.
Thank you. I'll talk about let's accept change. Let's try to come up with new things. We're doing things that were done in 1900 because our judges, our Kuchu judges started those things. We should continue and continue. We need new things. I mean, I'm tired of these things. Really old. We need to come up. Yes.
Whatever that
Yeah, we
is.
should create, I mean,
That is-
even the young generation that is coming, we should come up with new things. Even the language should change. I'm tired of some words, bottom, top. Like you're chatting with someone 1 minute. Are you a top or a bottom?
Me,
I
I'm
need
a
more
side.
beyond that. I mean,
I'm on
what
the
if I'm
side.
attracted to your ears only? It's all I need from you. Yeah. I'm tired of these old-fashioned things. Let's try to come up with new things. I think we shall try to fight the problem of gender roles. It will create a lot of change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Njagala kununa amatu.
Yay!
This podcast is becoming explicit.
It's another thing, you know. This is not a podcast. This is something else. What I say is that let us know that all of us were equal. Whether you're good in bed or not.
If I'm good in bed, we're not equal.
Listen, let me finish my. let's know that we are all equal.
It takes two to tango, Samantha.
What?
Yeah. So for me, I don't want to put the thing like to be bossy. No. If I'm in a relationship with you, there's no bossy thing here. As long as we understand each other, we know each other. So don't think that I am your boss, I'm beyond you, or you are beyond me. Yeah, and I say respect. No, respect me. Also, that stress should also respect my gender identity. Why are you asking me that if I'm a man or another one is a woman? So you have no right to ask me what I am. So that if we come and express ourselves how we are also, just love yourself the way you are. This negative thing shouldn't be. You should not drink them the way Samantha is drinking soda here. No, just be you. Be bold. Stand firm to be you. Yeah.
The attack was very unnecessary. No, but I'd love to say that the public, anybody listening to this podcast is about similarities and differences. And I'd love for you to know that we stand with the stay-at-home dads. We stand with the stay-at-home moms. We stand with the men who are fortunate to date women who are earning more than them, women who are fortunate to be earning more than the men. Can we stop these gender roles? Because they're not relevant. One thing I've learned about relationships, the compromise, the sacrifice. Find a thing that works. We are not Chinese t-shirts, one size fits all. No, we are people. We are able to get flexible and have this but we are able to have these conversations, candid conversations. I hate to see good relationships get wasted because people are trying to fit into the norms that they've grown up listening to. I'm proud enough to say that I've only been with masc women, but I've never struggled with gender roles. I've had, and it goes back to knowing, are you with a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a wife, a husband, or a partner? Because your partner is your partner. You're partnering on everything. You are working together. And also, just as a passerby, please stop meeting us and asking who is the man, who is the woman. Take it that we are chopsticks. We are both chopsticks. There's nothing that's spoon, fork, knife, what. But also, we resonate with the fact that it gets difficult. In a society where you're expected to have a bigger back than your wife, and yet you earn over $10,000 less than your wife, it is very difficult, but it is doable. At the end of the day, when you go back home, it's just you and this person. And I just want, the point of this particular episode was to show you that we struggle with the things that you struggle with. And the beauty with the things that you struggle with is that they're more defined. But us, we are making shit as we go, because we're learning to stray away from the heteronormative way of life. Because it's toxic. Even for you heteronormative people, it is very toxic. And it has unfortunately infiltrated into our kind of living. And so the purpose of this whole conversation was to discuss how we can refuse, we can say that I am going to have a conversation with my woman. You earn the money. Let me stay home. Buy me that baby clothes. Let me carry this child. Please buy scoring pad from Carrefour. I will wash the saucepans. Exactly. You know, I'm watching TikToks. I'm learning how to cook for you because I know you're working all day. And it's something that we're struggling with. We share with you. Actually, your thing might be easier because of the funny way that we have made our minds go. That people know women will cook, they will clean, they will wash. So I will come from office at 9 p.m. and soak clothes and wake up on Sunday at 6 and wash. But what we're saying is that we have the same problems that you have, or even more difficult. But we have the same solutions. Stop dating people, wives, husbands, wives. Get a partner.
But just something.
Get someone you do things with.
My biggest person in Uganda who is always challenging gender norms is Bad Black. Ideally, she's supposed to be a sex worker. And yeah. Okay, she's a sex worker, and our perspectives of sex workers are so, but she can afford to get any man she wants to cook for her, to give her babies. When she's tired, she can chase you. You get me? Like, yes. Every day.
Zari, the boss lady.
Zari, the boss lady, yeah? I mean, and she's fine with it.
No, but the one unique thing I've seen, the people you've mentioned, they still respect their husbands.
If we are to go into now men, He has more money on his women.
Yeah.
But he treats them like gold.
Yeah.
He will buy them with that latest. What would you say? I'm about this about Kwane.
mukazi wake teyasasula ntebe katonda
Nenga yasasula jiwa gonia baby. Ya muluma. All of us here, we're not going to walumye mbulamu. We're not going to waluma. So what I'm trying to say is, we struggle with the same gender norms that you struggle with, and I hope that as we go lower into this podcast, you will see how similar we are, how alike we are. The media has painted a picture of queer people with horns and unicorns, and I really wish I was a unicorn, but we're not. We have the same experiences, and if this podcast teaches you anything, it is that gender norms have to die. On both spectrums, the homosexual spectrum, heterosexual spectrum. It is not relevant that we have these stupid ideologies. We are carrying, you know what they call peer pressure from the dead? Tradition. People, please, get partners, have conversations with these people. Because at the end of the day, the government has no say in what you do behind closed doors. They won't arrest you for mopping if you're a man. They won't arrest you for not having money to take up if you are a mask femme, a mask woman.
But should it be
I'm seeing a
like
status
a woman is supposed to do this?
Thank you.
I just want to read it. There's this upcoming generation of men who cook better than their wives, and women who eat more than men, plus women having bigger feet than men.
Guys, look forward to episode 3. We're so happy to have you today. Next time will be fire. Bye. 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 See you. Thank you for listening to us. Catch us next time. And to follow this podcast journey at Kuchu Times Radio, phone on our website at www.kuchutimes.com and all our social media platforms.